what you ate for breakfast and all that wonderful stuff. Twitter is about so much more. You really have the ability to connect with people that you never would have connected with before. Even celebrities, you know, there's all kinds of celebrities on there, and the neat thing about that is they'll even verify the account so that you know that that's the real person, or somebody that, you know, their PR agency that's tweeting on their behalf or whatever, which I don't personally follow a lot of celebrities. I want to know more about people that can do stuff for me personally and professionally. But there's a lot of information as far as when you need to get started into Twitter of things that you need to know. The first thing you need to do is actually create a profile, get on there, and make sure that you have something that is going to be attractive to people. You know, whatever your bio is, you know, make sure you tell them a little bit about yourself professionally, but as well as personally. Because people want to, you know, you basically, just like as you would in a face-to-face, you would tell somebody what your name is and a little bit about, you know, what company you work for and that sort of thing. But tell them about your business. The great thing about that is they get inside scoop. I know, like, I personally run the CVB Twitter, and then I also have my own personal Twitter. And on the CVB Twitter, I talk a lot about local events and things that are happening in the area. But I also talk about the projects that we're working on, like the Shop Across Texas campaign, when our new visitors guide is coming out, you know, any of the local things that are happening, not just within our office, but across the board. And, you know, it's really great because all of our local partners that are on there and listening, they can then become more involved with us on a day-to-day basis. You know, not just through Facebook, because we also do Facebook, but Twitter as well. And, you know, one thing that we noticed, and somebody had mentioned this earlier about the ability to link Facebook and Twitter together, I'm going to recommend against that for businesses. And the reason that I say that is because we did that. That's fine. Thank you. Facebook, you may get on there and you may update one time a day, you know, sometimes 2 or 3 times, depending on what's going on, if you got a lot of interaction, if you're posting photos or just a general status update or that sort of thing. Twitter is more active, and I mean, you can post a tweet and a minute later it's gone because it's going through your Twitter stream, and it's, you know, depending on how many people you follow, feel free. Caesar salad goes over there. Anyways, but so whenever you're posting to Twitter, if you post that through to Facebook, I can tell you that unless you're somebody that people want to hear from on a constant basis, be very careful about that, because we actually did that in the beginning, and we had a lot of people that hit us on Facebook because we had them linked, and they were saying, you know, I don't want to see all that all the time. You know, I want to know what you're doing, but I don't need to know every step of everything that you're doing, you know? So just be very cautious of that. The other thing that you really want to do when it comes to Twitter is listen. They have what they call a rule of thirds. You promote yourself a third of the time, you promote others a third of the time, and you educate a third of the time. So when you're on there, you know, it's not just, I'm going to sell you whatever product it is that I'm selling, because, you know, it's just like with any regular salesperson. You want to be sold when you want to be sold. And just like Stephanie was talking about with text messages, it's very personal. And it's the same thing with Twitter, because again, that's going straight to their phone. So you have to think about that. You're connecting with that person at any hour of the day. So make sure that whatever you send them is worth their time reading. It's not like they're out there looking for information. They're getting it straight to them. So don't bug them. But whenever you're there, you also need to learn the different rules of Twitter. Like, for example, the @ symbol, you're actually specifically calling out a person. Like, for example, ours is @Beaumont CVB. So when you're talking, you're saying, oh, I'm sitting at Madison's with @Beaumont CVB and @Beaumartian, which is Stephanie. So you're actually talking with the 2 specific people that are on Twitter, and these are actual real life people. Okay, but then a hashtag is completely different. And that's basically the number sign, that's called a hashtag. And the way that works is you're actually making whatever you put that in front of searchable. For example, I created a hashtag for today's meeting, and it's #SMCB, Social Media Club Beaumont. And so now if anybody that might be tweeting and putting that hashtag at the end of this meeting, we can then go back onto all different types of Twitter searches and stuff like that, and do a search for that specific hashtag. So, and I do the same thing like when you go to conferences, or if you're having your own meetings, we hashtag a lot of stuff about Beaumont and Lamar football, and, you know, just various different things. And the idea is that you're letting somebody, you're saying, this is important to me, it's important enough that I'm going to call it out. I'm going to put a hashtag because I want to go back and find out who's talking about that later. That's extremely important. A couple of ones that I know that we follow as a CVB actually have these set up at different times throughout the week. Like, for example, every Thursday from 2 to 3, they have a tourism chat. And you can follow it on Twitter, and that's another great thing about it, is you don't have to physically be somewhere to follow a hashtag. I know I just got back from Washington, D.C. for a conference, and Stephanie was following the hashtag of our conference. So people are constantly Twittering, and these are people that you may not even know, but you know them, you've connected with them through this hashtag. And then you think, wow, this person does the same thing I do at a different organization. Now, that's a connection you wouldn't have had before. And now you can be able to offer value to them, and they offer value back. And it's the same thing that Stephanie wasn't there, but yet she was able to connect with these people as well. So you can see why it's completely useful and just offers, opens so many doors, that you didn't have before. Let's see, what else? Of course, as everything, make sure that you are personal as well. Talk to people and, tweet back the things that they have, that they say. Another thing that they talk about is a retweet and a direct message. Like Brian was explaining earlier with the Facebook wall and stuff, a direct message is the only time what you send is not public for everybody to see. If you send a tweet or a retweet, everybody that follows you or that doesn't follow you, but they get on there and to Twitter and they see it, they can see it. So be cautious about that. And again, share worthwhile information. It's just back to make sure that you're telling people something that they want to hear, and make it relevant to them, make it important, and make sure that you're sharing their stuff, because it's important. A retweet is kind of like a like on Facebook. That's your way of being able to say, you know what, I agree with this, or I think this is valuable enough to me that I think my followers need to hear it too. So, anyways, that's a little bit about Twitter. And again, feel free to ask us any questions. I know that we're all on Twitter, so some of us are addicts, but